I will then move on to the other things that I wanted to talk about, which is the fonts. How do you bring in fonts, customize fonts? So let's say we have Hello World. So by default, you are limited to the fonts that came with the system, which is, this font that doesn't look nice. And if you say font here, font style, or let's say font family, the property name is called font family. So you can see the fonts that you have here, they might, they are not that nice font by default. So there are better fonts that you can go and get on the internet. And luckily, Google Fonts has done a nice job in, creating a repo of, nice fonts in the entire web. So this has become a go-to place for you to use, for you to get fonts. Before now, there was nothing like Google Fonts. We have to do it the manual way. I will try and see if I can explain how the manual way works to you guys. But let's use it. Let's use the Google way first, and then we'll move on from there. So let's look for a fancy font. There are many ways in which you can search for fonts. You can play with this to give you the kind of fonts that you want. Let's use handwriting for some reason, just for you to see that the font came in. And let me see which one we're going to use. Let's pick this one. So this is Norwegian, right? This is the font we want to use. How do you get the font? There are, as I've mentioned, there are several ways in which you can get the form to your system, or you can implement the form, rather the fonts. There are several ways you can implement this font in your system. One of the ways is by downloading it and using it manually. This method don't require you to be on the internet, but the method I want to show you now requires you to be on the internet. And let me show you that method, then we'll work our way back to the other methods. So if I do download, it's downloading it to my system, but this is not the method I want. You will get to see the method I want now. So if I go back to Google Fonts, I'm looking for it. Yeah, this is it here. Now, Google has a way whereby those fonts you can use those fonts without downloading it. Yeah, that's what I just did here. This button here. Notice this button on the top right corner. So that's what will allow you to see all the families of that fonts that you've selected. So what I want to do is I want Google to tell me how to use this font. Each of the fonts you have selected has different sizes, and you can select the size you want. So you can see this is size 400, and you have all those sizes till this size 400 means the regular size of the font. There's also bold and there's light. This font doesn't have all those features, so I'll just show you with another font that has that. Let's go back a little bit. Let's pick this one. So this one, let me see. Okay, so this one, you can notice that it has those options. So this one has bold and it has regular. So I needed to show you all these features so you understand fonts, the way they look or the way they feel by default. So in a normal font, you will have regular, you have normal, you will have light, you will have extra light, you will have bold. So they have different weight. Each font have different weight. And let me show you, let's pick something that is more generic and leave the handwriting. Let's use this Roboto. So if I click on the Roboto guy, notice all the font size. It has thin, italics, light, which is 300. It has italics light, it has regular. You can see all the sizes of the font. This part is very important because the sizes that you want also determine what you will download, alongside. So let's go back to the fonts that we are concerned about. Now I've lost that font, but let's see if we can find it again. Okay. Yeah, there's the font. Okay, going back to what I said I wanted to do. Now, once you are sure of the size of the font that you want. In this case, regular. Remember that it can have more than one sizes or more than one weight. So, but this one has only one. So once you are good with this, so you click on the plus. When you click on the plus, what did it do? It added to the font that you are working with. By the way, you can have more than one font. I will show you when we're done how to get more than one font. Now look at what Google did for you. It shows you how to bring it into your code, right? This is how you use it. You can see the link, how to bring the link into your code. And once you are done, you call it by using this font family. So let's go ahead and see the implementation. So it said we should copy it this way. We should copy all these things. That's what it says we should do. Because I'm always on the internet, I don't really need to download anything to my system, but you will see how it works when you want to have it on your system. So we have that code copied, and that code needs to be on my header section, my head section, inside my head tag. So I'll just paste it here. And just to show you how the code looks like, let's inspect the code one after the other. So the first one talks about getting Google API stuff. The second one also does, that, which I don't think is required for us to use it, but Google just wants us to copy everything. This code is the main thing, the last one. This is the code that goes to pick the font, right? You see, this is the code that picks the font. This is the most important code. Now that the code has picked the font, how do we make sure that that font translates to our website here, to what we have here? Is by specifying the font family to the font name. Let's see what the code that the Google said we should use. If you go to the Google code, notice that code there. It says that once you do your font family property, then you use the name, this guy, Nosican, and then you can use this one in case if it doesn't see it. So I'm going to copy that and go to our code to give you a test. And remove this one. So do you see our font there? So we have our font defined. So I'm going to do something else as well. So we have our hello world. Let's bring in another font. Let's bring in another font so you see how it works. So I'll say this is another font working. So here I'm going to style it differently. I'm going to use a paragraph. I'm going to use a paragraph there. And here I'm going to use header 1 here, so that I can style the whole thing differently. Then I'm going to say all my header 1 should look like this, so that my paragraph can look like whatever the next font I want to say. So let's bring in the second font. And the purpose of the second font is to have, just to show you that you can use more than one font. So we already have this working, and this is tied to our H1. We want to go and have the second one. And again, just for my test, this one I guess is not required, so it will still work. That's two links that we want to go and copy. The important thing is this one here. You can see where the code, this is what is happening. Okay, so let's go and pick another font for our demo. Let's see, let's go and pick another font. Let me see display font. Let me remove handwriting. Let me pick this guy. So this one is called Lilita 1. So you can see that it also have only one. Let's look for the one that has more. Okay, let's just use it like that. It only has one, size, and it's regular. So I'll just add it. Once I add it like that, I can go and see here. Notice what happens here. Do you see what Google did? Because we are coming from the fact that we've added Norican before, it's not allowing you to have Lilita plus 1. This plus is a space. So it means what this does is that you can add more than one font together and bring it into your code. So now we are adding 2 fonts. And once you have it, look at the way you can use it. You can use it like this, say Lilita, 1. This is how to make use of it, and you are good to go. So let's go ahead and first bring it into our code by using the link again, all over again, because we've added one more guy here. So this is it here. This is our Lilita 1, and let's bring our code here. So this needs to be changed to Lilita 1. So that's how it works. So other things can then apply. Of course, your color can go in there, and everything, you can do everything. This is how to bring in fonts. And for me, this is the easiest way for me, because you don't need to manage anything. Now, how do you do it manually? If you want to bring in the font manually, it's a little bit tedious, and I don't think we should be going through that method. I will strongly advise that you don't go through that method. I won't go through the method because it's tedious. First of all, if you click on this link, it's going to do what? It's going to show you the code that explains what is going on. This is the method we are supposed to go to manually. This is what is happening. This is the file. This is the file on Google that brings the font in. So this is Lily 1. This is the first file. This is the second file. And this is the 2 files you need to bring in. And look at the name of the file. It's called WOFF2. This is how fonts are defined in my Mac. On your PC, it might be carrying something else. And this is the file you have to save on your system for it to be recognized without being on the internet. But you notice that because I'm on internet, it's saying that it can go and pick it on the internet, font.gstatic.com/ all these things. So if you save the file on your system, you don't need to go through HTTPS. What do you need to go through? You just go through your own file system. That's what you need to do. So let's go ahead and implement it. Let me just take the pen to implement it. So I copy this code, right? And I come here. Inside here, I say this is my fonts. Font.css. And I paste my CSS code here. This is my CSS code. So I need to go and make sure that this is saved to my local directory. This file needs to be saved. You can see that it's online. So we need to save it. We need to save these 4 files. We need to save it. So let's quickly do that. So I click on the first one. So the first one has downloaded on my system, even though I can't see it. I'll just click on the second one as well. It has also downloaded. Click on this one, and I click on this one. So let's check on the system to see that that is correct. So as I've said, it has downloaded on the system. So you can see those files there. Notice what ends them is ending with WO. So I'll just call them 1 and put my extension there. Okay, I think I won't rename it. I'll use it as it is. To save time, I'll use it as it is and move it into font folder. So I've created a folder called fonts. I'm moving the 4 files into font folder. So you can see the 4 files. So I didn't rename it. And then I will come here and make sure that it's not pointing to online anymore. Instead, is pointing to where? It's pointing to fonts. So this name, I don't have issues with this name. It's going to use that name that it's using. But here, I'm going to call it fonts. So you can see now, it's not picking from my local directory. It's not picking online. So that file exists because that's what it used to save it. I'm going to do the same thing for the rest. So we have another one there. Okay, so we have all that, sorted out. So we have our CSS file created that hosts all this file here called fonts.css has all the fonts, referenced. So what we then need to do is that we go to our page where they are being needed. Now, instead of you calling Google fonts here, that's the CSS for Google fonts, you won't call that, you will call your fonts.css. So immediately you call, let me show you what happened. If I don't call this, look at what is showing. It's showing that the font is not working. But immediately I put in this, it started working correctly. So right now we are not referencing Google anymore. We are working pure locally. We don't need the internet. We don't need the internet anymore. Look at what is inside here. It's not referencing anything from the internet. This is all local. I didn't save this one with name that is that you can easily remember. I just save it directly like that, and I drag everything inside here. I don't want to be taking my time to be renaming it, so I just left it like that. So everything is working normal. So this is the method you would have used if you want to save it on your system. This is the method you will have to use. Thank you for staying to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on bell notification in order to be notified when we release new videos. See you in the next one.